These tasks. It's the Metzger Tassoul Show.
Well, hello.
I didn't, the red screen came up, but I didn't see the intro.
Oh, you didn't see it? Did you hear it?
I heard it from my office.
It broke up a little bit.
Anyway, okay. Are we good? Should I put on, are we good? Am I not grainy, right?
You're not grainy.
Okay. All right, very good.
This perspective makes your knee look massive, but
oh, you can see my knee?
you can see your knee.
How about now?
It's all good.
All right, good. All right, so let's share it to all the mommy and me groups, parent groups.
Orlando's moms and siblings group.
Right.
Let's see here. All right, here we go.
So how is everybody doing today? Perri, I can't see any comments, questions. And I know usually questions fly in early, so you'll just have to read them out. Go ahead. As a matter of fact, why don't you read the first question? We'll just start there.
The first question is, this is an example of a viewer's comment. Click show to display comments on the screen for better engagement. So
you want to answer that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the example, guys. I think it's live.
Right. Very.
Let me
you got to have fun, right?
Every day. I say we do a good job of that here.
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez, we would say we do too good of a job doing that. So we're going to talk about trials today.
Trials. I get questions about this all the time.
Well, it's a big topic because everybody has their own take on trials. Mm-hmm. But before we dive in, let's call out the elephant in the room. Shane Tassoul is out of town, I believe, at a wedding, traveling to a wedding on a flight right now. That's why you are filling in.
That's right.
Which, whether the audience knows this or not, is an upgrade.
I beg to differ. Mr. Tassoul is much taller than I am.
That's exactly correct. You're right. So anyway, listen, trials. People in our industry seem to be enamored with trials. So much so that we forget about the end game. And over the last week, as you may or may not know, Perri, we've been really focused on the bullseye, the target. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? I think a lot of us get caught up in the tasks that need to be done, that we forget the reason why we're doing the tasks that need to be done. So that ties in with trials, because who wants trials? Well, nobody wants trials. What we want is enrollments. That's what we want. But most of us get enrollments through a channel of trials. And so the question is, should you do a free trial? Should you do a paid trial? How long should the trial be? Is it, and then you can branch out. Should the trial be a private class? Should it be in a group class? Is there an intro lesson? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that today. So with that, are we sharing? Are we active? Are we live?
Yep, we're sharing. We're active. We're live. We're sharing in the Martial Arts Industry Association page. And it's across different groups as well. So hello, everybody. Let us know where you're watching from. See who's out there.
You did get it to the moms and siblings?
Correct.
Okay. Because this is important. I want to make sure we hit that group.
Only of Lower East Orlando, though?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yep, that's fine. So, all right, everybody, let's talk about trials. So here's the first question I'd like to ask everybody. What standard trial do you guys typically use in your school? What do you guys do? Is it free? Is it paid? How long is the trial? What is your trial offer? That's the first question. The next thing that I will tell you, it's important to disguise your trials. But disguising your trials does not mean change your trial offer. And that's important to understand too. So are we getting anybody chiming in on what trials they offer?
No, I did get Mr. Lockett saying I heard upgrades were bad, which is very true.
That's only from the Midwest to the west side of the United States, sir. East Coast upgrades are very, very good.
Guys, type in the chat box. Let us know what your trials. What was the question? What are your current trials?
Yeah, what's your current trial offer? What is everyone doing for a trial offer? I'd love to know.
We made a post. This is funny enough. This is a post that we put in the Martial Arts School Network. What's the best trial offer to get new students? We did this back in January, actually. And I'm just reading through some comments here. Used to do a free event, then give away a free week. Different twists on BOGO, 4 weeks for 99 BOGO with 99 credit towards membership. Throwing a free student uniform, 69 trial with free uniform. We got some comments coming in as well here. Let me show Mr. Tyrell.
Free trial class and a 30-day paid trial. Okay.
We got that one. Mr. Lockett. The old 4 for 49.
I don't know why you would do that trial, but okay.
Mr. Silva, Sebastian Silva, one free week of classes. Oh, they're coming in now here. Shelly Ross, still working through the best choice trials. We have a free day pass and just launched the 4 weeks for 49.
All right. All right, Perri. Let's give all of these people what they came for. Nothing currently. 8-week summer trial begins May 17th. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Whew. There's a lot to this. Believe it or not, trials. Perri, you asked me 10 minutes ago, what are we talking about? I said trials. You kind of went, right? There's a lot of layers to trials. So if you pay attention, I promise you will get something out of this show today. So let's talk about it. Number one, this is going to sound cliche and ridiculous, but pay attention. This is even if you're an elite client or a CMA affiliate school. Number one, use the trial that works. That's number one. So what I mean by that sounds like ridiculous, right? But for example, Mr. Church said, nothing currently, we're going to do a summer special trial. Great. But let's just say, for example, you were doing a 4 weeks for 49 and leads are just pouring in. Even if I say we need to launch our summer special, your summer special will just get disguised and your summer special will be 4 weeks for 49 if that's what's working, right? You don't just change something if something is working. Number one. Number two, here's the biggest mistake with trials, everybody. Listen, if you do one free trial class, now you got to understand this is a personality thing and it depends on how good you are at sales. But if you do one free trial class and they do the class, what are you doing after that class? You're trying to get them enrolled. And if they say, let us think about it, let me talk to my spouse, let me talk to my child, let me home check the schedule, they are done. Now you're just playing phone tag, trying to now sell them over the phone to see if they want to come back in and sign up. So there's a negative there if you're not real strong at sales. Number two, if you are a one-man or one-woman operator, there's a couple different choices here. And by the way, we do this in our schools. I like that. Well, number two, let me tell you the other problem with trials. People will do a 1 week trial or a 2 week trial or any time period trial. And you'll try to catch these people at the end of their trial to see if they've decided if they want to continue and enroll. And if they give an objection that you can't overcome, you're right back to that free trial mishap where now it's just like, hey, I'm just checking in, wanted to see if you had a chance to look at your schedule, talk to your spouse, or if you wanted to come in and enroll and sign up. But you have to remember, every time a student is outside of your school, you are now competing against life. You're competing against busyness, stress, work, sports, other hobbies, social time. And it gets harder and harder and harder to get somebody to enroll once they're out of your school. So this is why I don't like free trials. Somebody also mentioned a free 30-day trial. Well, free 30-day trial, I didn't pay anything. So if I don't finish the trial, I didn't really lose anything. Let me tell you why I like a 4-week trial. I like 4 weeks for $49. But it's not about the $49. The $49 is they're making a financial commitment, which is important, and it's a low price point. It's not very expensive, $49. So I like 4 weeks for $49. But when somebody comes into my school and they sign up for a trial, or if they do it online and they sign up for a trial, the first time they walk into the school, we like to do an evaluation, but then they're going to be in group classes for the next 4 weeks. But when we greet them, we set up a progress check appointment after their 3rd class, which is typically in the 2nd week for us because they can come 2 days a week. Well, that progress check appointment, and we set that up right at the beginning, is we say, look, one of the things we'd like to do is set up a progress check appointment with you after your 3rd class, because after you start taking some classes and you see some things, we just want to get some feedback. We want to give you some feedback, let you know how Johnny's doing or how you're doing, and we want to see if you have any questions after you get a couple classes. Well, at that progress check, we're going to say, how are you enjoying the classes? How's your child enjoying the classes if you work with kids? Do you see how this could really help you with fitness or focus for your child or whatever it is they said when they come in for a trial, everybody? You need to understand what they are looking for as a customer. You need to find that out. So we ask those 3 questions. If they're all positive, I enjoy it, he enjoys it, yes, I can see how this can help with focus, confidence, whatever. We say, well, look, you still have 2 weeks left on your trial that you paid for. But if you know you're enjoying it, he enjoys it or she enjoys it, and you're seeing the values and the benefits, would you be interested in saving some money if you decide to enroll? That's a soft question. Well, they would say, sure. Yeah, if I decide to enroll, yeah, I'd like to know how I can save money. Well, if you want to enroll today, you paid $49 for the trial. We'll double that. So we'll give you $99, roughly $100 off, $98, $100 off your program. We'll still give you the 2 weeks that you paid for, and your first payment won't start until 3 weeks from now. Would you like to take advantage of that savings and enroll now? In a perfect world, they enroll now. But what if they say, I need to talk to my spouse? I need to think about it. I need to look at my schedule. I need to do this, that, and the other. You're not going to play phone tag trying to chase them because people like to get what they paid for. They paid for 4 weeks. So there's still 2 weeks left on their trial. So you have many more opportunities to try to catch them, build more value, and see if we can get them enrolled.
Reiterate one more time, because I think you talk about this all the time, that presentation is key. And there's 2 things that you said. Would you like to learn how to save? I think was number 1. And number 2, if you decided to enroll, why are those 2 things so important?
Because it's a yes answer. Everybody wants to save money. And if I choose to enroll, I want to know how to save. What I won't do is say, would you want to enroll now? Like, that's a hard sell question. You want to enroll right now? Do you want to save money and enroll now? Well, I want to save money. I don't know if I want to enroll now. So I get a financial self-defense posture type thing, right? Potentially. But I'll say, well, look, if you're enjoying it and he's enjoying it and you see the values, if you decide to enroll, would you like to know how you can save money on the program? Now, when they say yes, what they just did is give me permission to now go into the sales process. and tell them all about the program and the pricing options that they have. Okay, so that's very key. And some people will say, I did what you said, Metzger, I did what you said. Well, what'd you say? Well, I asked him, are you enjoying it? Well, since you're enjoying it, do you want to save money and enroll now? And then I will say, well, that's not what I said. They'll go, it is what you said. And I'll say, no, it's not, right? So success is in the details, as we say. So it is about presentation. Now, if somebody says no, if you have assistant instructors or other people that help on the floor, that's what mini meetings are for. Because the next day I'm going to say, hey, I spoke with Sarah or Johnny or Mrs. So-and-so or whatever, wanted to see if they would like to enroll, and they got to think about it. By the way, I want to make clear, if somebody has to think about it, if somebody says, I got to check with my spouse, if somebody says, let us finish out the trial, at the end of the day, it's a no. There's many ways of saying, no, I don't want to enroll now. But that's irrelevant for right now. When I talk to my team, we understand that if somebody has to think about it or talk it over, or they say, we'll see, or whatever, we're not doing a good enough job in building value. We take that responsibility. So now all I need my instructors to do is highlight a little more, spotlight a little more, build more rapport with that parent, not talk about signing up for sales. That'll be the office person that follows up. How's he doing? Is he enjoying it? We got to let the program sell itself. So that's that trial. So what I just answered in all of that rhetoric is, I like a 4-week trial and I like a paid trial. Now, well, somebody might say, well, can't I just do that in a 2-week trial and meet with them after their 3rd class? Well, if you do a 2-week trial, here's a couple things that can happen. You can meet with them after their 2nd class where they have 1 more week left and you have to get them closed within that week. But if you're doing well on your marketing, if you're doing well at getting people in, what are you going to do? And I know some people on here will say, man, that'd be the best problem ever, but it's still a problem. What are you going to do if you have 10 trials sign up this week? You will miss somebody next week when you have 10 people expiring on their trial. And some people will fall through the cracks. And remember, trials are all beginners. So it's not just 10 people spread out through the night. It's 10 people joining your beginner class, maybe the adult class or a child class, but people will fall through the cracks. So I like the 4-week trial because it gives us time and nobody falls through the cracks. Now, let's talk about other kind of specials. I said you got to disguise the marketing. Summertime, we define summer as it's coming up as 8 weeks. So we call it a summer trial special or a summer special. 8 weeks for whatever you want. $149 for the summer, $199, whatever. Again, the key here is a low price point and not a huge financial or time commitment. We want people to have an opportunity to see the values and benefits of our program without making a big financial or time commitment, right? You have to also understand that if you are a school and you are under 100 students, if you're under 100 students and you don't get a lot of enrollments, I might say, hey, I want your summer special to be 8 weeks for $49. Because we just need to get bodies on our mat. And in a summer special, if it's 8 weeks, we don't set a progress check appointment in the 2nd week. We'll set it in the 3rd week. When they're close to being halfway through, we'll give them an opportunity to save money if they want to enroll. We'll still give them the remainder of 5 weeks left or 4 weeks left before their first payment starts. So in theory, we would repeat this. It's like you're getting the entire summer free. Right? If we apply what they paid for their trial to the program and give them the rest of their trial, they'll get the rest of the time free. Perri, you go ahead. What is it?
I was just going to say, check out this comment. This is from Mr. Costa. I just did enrollment last night and took $99 off a $16.95 paid in full after 1 trial class. So I'm presuming they came in on a 4 weeks for 49, or maybe a $99 trial, and he applied that credit towards one of your options.
Yeah, listen, again, you can do that. And here's the other thing. You know, we have a lot of team members, right? So I'm not sitting in the school doing this now. And I learned a long time ago, Mr. Costa is an owner operator. So Mr. Costa is the owner, and he's present in the school. When I was present in the school, it didn't matter what offer. I'd have someone signed up after the first night, get them enrolled, right? Because I'm okay at sales, right? Which, by the way, let's do a commercial break for MAIA Elite. Perri, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, with MAIA Elite, you get.
There you go. We're good at sales, everyone.
But you're asking me something, I think.
What was that voice you just did? Was that Casey Kasem, or who
That's
was
the
that?
Metzger Tassoul Show intro song voice.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. That's why there was such familiarity with it. Anyway, so yes, look, here's the other thing you have to realize. If somebody takes time out of their life to fill out an online form, opt in, call you, come in for an appointment, they're telling you they want to do martial arts. They're telling you they want to do it. And you should be able to sign everybody up, and you can potentially do that. But when you deal in over 2,000 students and masses of people and team members that are running multiple locations, you have to systemize it. You have to systemize it, which means it has to be something where we can still get great results, but it's duplicatable for most people. And this is the system that seemed to has worked well for us, because it also gets the whole team involved. When somebody comes in on a trial, they'll discuss the people that are on the trial. The instructor is aware, the leadership, the assistants, the program director. Everyone understands, and we have to do our job. And I always say the sale doesn't happen in the office, it happens on the floor. But if you're a salesperson, then the sale may happen in the office. And some of you are so good at selling that you'll sell people so well just to find out that later on they're like, what did I just do? And there's buyer's remorse. And then your attrition rate isn't great, or your retention rate isn't great. Your attrition is too high. So there's a lot of layers that you got to look at. So we talked about the summer special, but here's the deal. As I said at the beginning of this show, if you have an offer that works, keep using it. Number one. We talked about a summer special, which is 8 weeks. But what if I've been pouring in on 4 week for 49? Just take that same thing and call it a summer special. Give a different look to your marketing and keep using it until you see it's not working anymore. Then you can go 8 weeks for 149 or do something different. Number 3 on trials. If you're running a booth or if you're out in the community, here's another mistake. You'll take your trial offer and you'll hand that out to everybody. And then you'll wonder why you don't get any calls and why no one's coming in. So when we go to a booth, what we'll do is, let's say my offer that's worked for me is 4 weeks for $49, includes a uniform. But if I'm going to go work a booth somewhere, an offsite booth, or do a demo or be out in the community, I will take the uniform out of that. And I'll do a 4 week for 49 and I'll hand it to everybody. But I'll tell people at that festival, at that fair, at that demo, wherever I'm at, by the way, just for setting an appointment with us today to come in next week, you can come in and do a free class. But this 4 week, and then if you decide you want to do the trial, we cut this special in half. So it's not 4 weeks for 49, it's 4 weeks for 25. And you'll also get one of these official martial arts uniforms if you decide you want to do the trial. But you don't have to decide that till after you do your free class. But just for making the appointment, you're going to get that cut in half, and we're going to throw in the uniform. Which brings me to my final point, and then Perri, you can weigh in because you ran a school for years. My final point is remember this, and Mr. Costa made the point. Trials are just a way to get people into your school. Low price point, low commitment. It's easy. There are trial specials than there are enrollment specials. Trial specials are easier to get people in as opposed to an enrollment special, because an enrollment special, like sign up now and, you know, get $100 off and a free uniform if you enroll in our basic program or something. Well, fewer people are going to do that because they know they got to enroll. Trials are easy to get people, number one. And the second point is, remember, a trial is just a stepping stone to get them to enroll. So Mr. Costa just went right to the enrollment. And if you can do that, I would tell you to do that all day, every day. Because ultimately the trial is just a stepping stone to get the enrollment. But our industry tends to get excited about trials, and they don't realize they're not converting trials very well, but they have more trials than they ever had. I don't care about that.
I've got 42 trials on the mat right now. I hear sometimes, and I'm like, well, it means you got to start enrolling people.
Right. It doesn't matter how many trials you have. I want to know how many enrollments you have. So what do you want to add, Perri? What do you want
Listen,
to
I think the biggest thing, you know, I look at trials and we spend a lot of focus on it because we want bodies in, which is good, right? And I think what you said about we want a low barrier of entry, a short time commitment, really easy payment-wise for somebody to come in and try it out. But don't get fixated on the term, especially. You talked about whether it's the third class or the third week if we do the summer special. But above everything else, it doesn't matter what we do, what we teach, what we've got, what our accolades are. It boils down to, I was talking to Ms. Connor about this. We're going through we're doing a bunch of these SOPs, just hammering out a bunch of SOPs. And one of them that she even didn't realize was on the guest registration that we use, how that's like one of the biggest tools to know exactly what that person's why is. They may come in saying, yeah, when you make that initial phone call, or they make that initial phone call, yeah, I'm interested in martial arts because I want self-defense for my kid. Well, they come in, they do that first class, they fill out self-defense, and then we've got 4 categories at the bottom of our enrollment sheet that they then say, oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't necessarily self-defense. I want confidence in my child or in myself or whoever it is. So the next key is not just taking this piece of paper and saying, oh, that's great, they filled it out and putting it on your desk, but making sure whoever's doing that initial class or that trial or any classes for that matter, know that that's the why for that student and that we're incorporating it into that initial experience. If we don't do that, we're just making the job so much harder, and we're not letting them know that the value that they or the benefits that they get from being a part of your studio. So I think that's the biggest thing. The trials are great, but if we don't relay how we're going to help them with that, or not just relay it, because I could talk about it all day long, but get them that win. That's, I think, the biggest thing. And,
By the way, you said something important. A lot of times people will just go through the tasks, again, as I said earlier, of guest register, finding out what the customer wants, just because that's what they were taught to do, but they don't do anything with that information. And you said it. You got to take the information. This is that would be like me going to a restaurant and saying, I'd like the filet mignon. And they're like, okay, great. Then they bring me a prime rib. It's like, you didn't listen.
Right.
Well, you wanted steak. Everybody comes here for steak, but I wanted a filet. I didn't want the prime rib, right? Or New York or whatever. My point is you got to use the information and make sure you share the information and deliver. You got to deliver what these customers want. You know, say this. I'm going to say this at MAIA, which, by the way, if you're watching this show, does everyone know that everyone that's actually watching, we have that new program that automatically funnels them into the. Does everyone know they're being charged and they're coming to MAIA that's watching this, Perri?
Yeah.
Did we put up
commented or watched? If you just commented or watched, it automatically did. So thank you guys for being part of the team. We appreciate it.
Right. We'll see you in July at MAIA, but at MAIA, Perri, thank you.
I'm sarcastic with my mom sometimes, and she doesn't know if I'm serious or not. So I gotta stop.
Yeah, I might have that same problem with my family, Perri. At MAIA, though, I was going to do this, and I think I did this. I did do this yesterday in the manager meeting. I said, write down what your job is. You know, write down what your job is. And if you're an instructor, you probably say, well, my job is to teach great classes, make sure students are ready to test, make sure they're fun and exciting classes, whatever. If you're an office person or program director, it may be my job is to follow up with leads, do enrollments, do upgrades. And I said, that level of thinking is here. And you got to get your level of thinking here. And here's your job. Provide quality value and benefits and service to our customers. That's your job. Now there's branches on how to do that. But again, it's my point that we get so caught up in the tasks, we forget ultimately what our job really is. And if you just keep your eye on the ball with a trial, with enrollments, with improving retention, that your job is to provide quality, values and benefits and service to our customers, then you will go farther. This might be off topic. What does this say, Perri?
This might be off topic, but I was wondering what you guys feel about AI and the martial arts. A lot of software are now using AI to communicate with the customer.
What is AI, Perri?
It's I believe it's assisted integration.
Assisted integration. I'm not familiar so much with this assisted. I'm kidding. We're kidding, sir. Let me tell you about AI. It's an extremely valuable tool. Extremely. We use it in helping us with marketing and this, that, and the other. However, as Michael Perri said, we're doing a lot of SOPs.
Yes.
What was that?
Artificial intelligence. Thank you, Mr. Hutchings. I'm messing with you, sir.
Thank you. It's like your parents, Perri. It's like your mom. She doesn't know. But here's the deal. Like ChatGPT, for example. If you say, give me an SOP on, Perri, how many people are on here? 10?
We're up to 31 watching live.
Okay, listen, this is important. Let me tell you where you get fooled. Please take this out of context. This industry is lazy. Most people are lazy. I just trained this morning. I just did jujitsu this morning. We were talking about how big, the shots are. Everybody wants to do Ozempic and stuff, which is very, very, from what I understand, very good for people. And there are some people that really need it. But there are other people who just want to use it because they don't want to do what we were doing. I said, they don't want to really work out and eat better and everything else. But in the martial arts industry and ChatGPT, there's shortcuts, we believe, right? Tell me how to do an enrollment conference, give it some information, spew out a SOP on that. Well, we started looking at that. And what did I have us do?
We went back and redid it all.
Redid it all. I said, we are going to redo it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so we had some framework, some questions, some prompts that we would give it based off of us talking through in a whole script of what it is A to Z to do blank system, right? But it would spit it out and create an awesome structure. But as you started diving in and reading it, it sounded it's funny.
So here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say, industry. You're going to start probably seeing people put this stuff out there. Use your mind, use your brain, read through it, and really realize, is it really good? Because ours wasn't. We rewrote it completely. And as a matter of fact, Connor, she here?
She might be.
So what do we have? We have here. Here's our SOP.
Is that unit 5?
Look, can you see this, Perri?
Oh, yeah. It's backwards, but I see it.
All right. Well, this is the table of contents for all of the SOPs. My point is, this is a ton of work. This is just the table of contents. This is a ton of work. Of course, it's easy to use AI and framework, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a team. We're doing it like a human being right now. We're not there yet, and we're making it very, very simple. And all the points and the details that need to be done. I think it's very important. So, well, yes, I think, what is this?
Can you see what that says?
No,
it says sound human. We were putting an SOP together based off of a special event that we do at our schools, an extreme training camp, and some of the verbiage, it just didn't sound right. So we're going back and sitting down back to the drawing board.
But however, AI on the marketing side and this, that, and the other, and there are places for AI for sure, that can definitely help. But just make sure, don't get so lazy that, you just rely on somebody else to do all the work for you. You want to be successful, you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in, guys. I mean, that's just it. You got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your team. You got to empty your cup. You got to open your mind, pay attention, and learn as much as you possibly can to maximize your chances of success. Like Mr. Costa, for example, right, said, well, I did one trial class, had someone pay in full, this, that, and the other. Yeah, and there's people that hit the lottery too, right? But not everybody hits the lottery. As a matter of fact, the majority of people don't hit the lottery by far, right? But what can you do to where the majority of people will win? How do you increase your chances of winning, of maximizing success? You guys know the answer to this, okay? I'm using my studio. I saw they're all custom to use AI, a way to communicate with the internet. Just wondering if you guys feel that is something that is necessary. I think that's very important. And by the way, some of that basic stuff works very, very well. Especially if a lead comes in, AI can say, thank you for instantly, thank you for contacting us. How'd you hear about us? Some of that stuff just to get dialogue going with a potential customer, especially if you're a one-man or one-woman show and you don't have the ability to just stay on the leads 24/7, which none of us do, even with a full staff. If a lead comes in at Sunday at 2 a.m., no one's responding to that, but AI can. And I think that's where it's very valuable, for sure. Anybody have any other questions, or do you want to add anything, Perri?
I was going to say nothing compares to the human touch, but there's only certain capabilities that us people as humans are able to do. Like you said, we can't, I mean, you probably could, but I don't think anybody wants to wake up at 3:30 in the morning and answer a text from a potential client that just happens to be on the internet at that time. Here's some more coming in. Shelly Ross, AI can reply to FAQ leads and have a good response to both with the human and
100%. Yes, ma'am. 100%.
Our pleasure, sir. Our pleasure.
Yep, our pleasure. So, listen, I hope you got a little bit more insight on trials, because trials, listen, unless you keep data and stats, meticulous stats, you don't have an argument to tell me which trial offer is the best unless you keep stats to back it up, right? So, but you have to understand how trials work and how it would be different for everybody, right?
Mr. Lapinto says, do you prefer to have prospects automatically be sent to the scheduler, or do you prefer to personally schedule the intro, first trial class?
I always would like us to personally do anything we can, always is my first preference. Not always possible, but at the end of the day, think of the target. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get them in my building. So if I can't personally do it, I'm going to use all the CRMs. I'm going to use whatever I can to make sure I get the highest odds in my favor to schedule appointments and get people into my building. But a human, like you said, the human touch, the human touch point, 100%. That I don't see AI ever replacing that. I mean, maybe it will someday, but will it be better? Will it be better than the instructor themselves or the owner themselves talking to a client? Will it ever be better than that? It might be as good, but I don't know if it'll be better than the actual person who will be teaching my class reaching out to that prospect. So anytime I can have a team member reach out. However, data shows, stats show that if a human is going to touch base with a prospect a day later, it would be more beneficial to have AI touch base with that prospect if it's 1 minute later. from when they opted in or requested. So understand that.
Okay, we got another great question. Well, before I get to that question, oh, there you go. It popped up. What's more effective?
Private one-on-one intro class before enrollment? It's scrolling up. I can't see it.
Private one-on-one intro class before enrollment or trial class with students, and why?
Listen, sometimes you don't have a choice. We have 9 locations as of Monday. We'll have our 9th location, right? And some schools don't have the ability to even do the one-on-one trial. However, I recommend you always do a one-on-one appointment trial if possible, but at least an appointment, because what you have to assume, it may not be real, but you got to assume it, because if you assume it, it's only going to make it better. You got to assume that it's very intimidating for that child or that adult to jump into a class. The one-on-one makes people feel more comfortable. You build rapport, you make them feel at home, you make them feel special, like there's nothing, you introduce them. By the way, any new trial that's going to jump out, get a student to be their buddy for that class, to be their partner. An adult, same thing. Get somebody that's going to be right with them. You want that rapport between the student and the trial. Make them feel special. So always do something one-on-one, even if it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And then you can walk them into class, but you don't want to just have them say, you just go on the back of the line there and just follow along. You don't want to do that. Somebody wants to be their partner, so they have a friend already right in that class. So that would be my answer.
Yeah. So more effective one-on-ones, always the most effective. Give them that personal attention.
In the beginning, I think.
Yeah. Mr. Costa says, I call most leads within 5 minutes, but my CRM does better at scheduling a one-on-one appointment better. I think they are at work and can't take my call. Yep, can't take my call.
Possible. Just keep the stats and then we'll know, right?
And then somebody from MAIA just said,
oh, read that question, Perri.
I think it's 100, 100, 100 or 300.
Yes,
yeah,
it is. That is.
Thank you. Thank you, Martial Arts Industry Association.
Thank you. Thank you, MAIA. Are we being sabotaged from our own office, Perri?
It might be. It might be. Brian?
Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, got one here again from Mr. Maddox. Are there different approaches for maximizing growth versus maximizing short revenue?
Well, short revenue does attribute to growth. It's I don't know what you mean by maximizing short revenue. Do you mean paid in fulls? Like, what is short revenue? Trials, like a parent's night out where you get 30 kids paying $30 and you just made $900? I'm not sure I understand. Maximizing growth is understanding the 5 profit centers in your business and understanding that all of it is part of doing business. Some people are very afraid of paid in fulls. It's part of doing business. The problem with paid in fulls is not the paid in fulls. It's the person receiving the paid in full who spends all that money and then has a student on their mat. By the way, has a student on their mat where they would say, are training for free. But if you've ever heard me talk, you know that your billing check, whatever you get for tuition, should only represent 50% or less of your overall revenue. And a lot of people don't understand that. So let me just give you this example, and I'm not going to explain it. I'll just tell you a fact, and then you'll be like, well, he's lying, or you'll tune out now. But in our basic program, you pay full price for the first 2 family members, and all additional family members are free. Okay? So that means if mom and dad and their 2 kids want to join, they're only paying for 2. So let's say they pay for the 2 kids. The mom and dad are now training for free. They're not paying any monthly fee. However, our average student value a year ago was $226. Do you remember? $226 per person a month, average student value. That's what each customer was worth. But that averaged out, even the 2 free people were worth $226 a month. So the thing is when you get paid in fulls, that short-term, well, it's quick revenue. I wouldn't say it's short-term revenue or short revenue. It's quick revenue. And it helps maximize growth. But not if you don't understand all the other profit centers in the school.
Yep. Mr. Tyrell, another great question. The answer is yes. Do you keep stats on enrollments from Google, Facebook, Instagram, referral leads? Very important stats to track.
Yeah, 100%, because I want to know where to put my money and my efforts. You absolutely should track all that.
Shelly Ross, proof is in the numbers. Numbers don't lie, right?
Sometimes, right?
Depends on the numbers. Mr. George, he just agrees. I agree with having a one-on-one time for a new trial, whether it's with an instructor, student buddy, especially if it's a young adult. That way you can build a connection with them. Yeah.
Hey guys, listen. Here we go with the sales. Check out MAIA in July. Master Chip Townsend will be there. Master Dave Kovar, Michael Perri will be there.
I'm raising my hand because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but just last week we made the announcement that in addition to the Saturday and Sunday MAIA schedule, the Superfoot Systems team is going to be doing their big event on Friday. So all MAIA attendees get to come to the Superfoot Systems training. So they're going to have Superfoot Science training seminars with Bill Superfoot Wallace, Terry Dow, Shannon the Cannon, and I know I can't remember the last name. But he's the founder of 9 Round Boxing, the franchise. So he's going to be doing a seminar too. Great
Fights in Karate Combat.
But
anyway, it's all on Friday. So yes, that is true. Yes, you get to participate in that as well. And it's a Saturday, Sunday, July 5th, 6th, 7th. Perri?
July 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's right.
Nobody needs to comment. You know that's over the 4th of July weekend? Yes. We do.
We knew you'd be closed, so we wanted to make it easy for you to fly into Orlando, Florida on that's Disney property. It's a cool resort. See?
Right. It's not crowded then. Plus, you get tickets to go to the ISKA World Championships on Saturday night with the U.S. Open ISKA World Championship. So anyway, spend the $299 to come to MAIA. Get a flight. We have a special room block at the Disney Coronado Springs. Contrary to some people in the industry, it is not $10,000 a night to stay there.
I think it's only $179 or $189 a night.
Right. So there you go. So anyway, guys, we'd love to meet you. We'd love for you to take 3 days of seminars, and maybe you might learn something that you just didn't know about, or have a new twist on how to do something a little bit better in your business that may help your business grow. Maybe not, but I think it's worth the gamble of the $299 and the $200, and let's call it $1,000 potentially, right?
Shelly Ross, so easy, no crowds. Ms. Ramos,
not in the #1 destination spot in the world.
But worth $1,000.
Right, flights. Yeah, you may want to book your flights because some flights are $4,000 round trip. Because some people like to fly private.
For one person. Thank you, Mr. Costa. Yes, it's Shannon the Cannon Hudson. Shannon the Cannon Hudson. Yes.
There you
he
go.
Just recently fought in Karate Combat.
And because Perri messed up his name, he may be fighting Perri July 6th.
Most likely. But that's the review event that we're doing.
So sign up for MAIA. Come on out. We sold out last year and we had to cut it off. Is that a true statement? We sold out. We couldn't accommodate any more people. We tapped out at 500 people, and that was all we had room for in the rooms that we had. So if you want to come out, bring your staff and take your school up to another level. Again, it's about putting the odds in your favor. If you were taking a test and they said if there was a big martial arts conference and you're trying to grow your school and Would it be better to A, not attend at all, B, attend the event? A or B? What would be to pass? What would give you better odds? Well, attend every event you could possibly attend is what would give you better odds. So anyway, would love to see you out there, guys. Hope, again, you learned a little bit more about trials and understanding the why behind what we do and the trials and what's right for you. Maybe understanding what would be right for you depending on how you're running your business. Any final words, Perri?
No, looking forward to seeing everybody at MAIACon. Hey, just recap, actually. So low price, short term, 4 weeks, and really focus on setting up that appointment to follow up with them prior to the end of the trial.
And listen, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying 2 weeks isn't good. 2 weeks is great, unless you get a big influx of trials and people fall through the cracks and their trial ends before you get to try to enroll them. And also, 1 week could be great. One class could be great if you're strong at sales. But I got to teach things that are duplicatable. But when we do one-on-one consulting, like in MAIA Elite, ding, plug, when we do one-on-one consulting, we will find out what's the best trial for you. We'll go through it. We'll figure it out. So anyway, there it is. Thank you, guys.
Hey, real quick. So yes, Century is giving a $2.99 credit for anybody who's never attended the MAIACon or MAIA events before.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Costa. That is correct.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks all, everyone. Thanks, Metz.